In light of recent events, I felt it was necessary to shed a little light on the city, considering nighttime is around 4 p.m. now, and do a video I've never done before. The LGBTQ plus community is an important piece of Boston's history, and many aspects of it are overlooked, overshadowed, or simply erased. There is an unwarranted fear/rejection of the community, stemming from a lack of information and patience or empathy. Well, let's start with the acronym itself, LGBTQ plus. L is for the way you look at me. L stands for lesbian, G stands for gay, B stands for bisexual, T stands for transsexual, Q stands for queer, and the plus stands for the little tiny follow button you should hit to support the channel. But yeah, the plus stands for those who do not identify as either men or women, and includes individuals who are attracted to individuals regardless of gender. Simple stuff. Let's keep it going. Boston has a controversial reputation as a very welcoming city. You will get different answers depending on who you ask. The LGBTQ plus community is no different of an example than others. Let's take a lookie. We will begin this story in the early 1900s. In the 20th century, the LGBTQ community was entrenched in the Roaring Twenties, a time of widespread prosperity and economic growth stemming from wartime recovery. A story as old as time itself, humans in music and dance have found themselves entrenched in harmony. The 20s is simply another page within the book. Masquerade balls, dances, and clubs saw a dramatic rise to fulfill the new dazzling generation that loves a party. If we look at New York, the Renaissance Casino in the Harlem neighborhood hosted the 58th Masquerade and Civil Ball of Hamilton Lodge. Among numerous guests, there were a significant percentage of what were then described as quote-unquote fairies. Sarah Pruitt of the History Channel describes the scene as, quote, "In their gorgeous evening gowns, wigs, and powdered faces were hard to distinguish from many of the women," end quote. These drag balls, as they were described, became widely popular. So popular, in fact, that in the 1920s, it was popular for me to drag balls across your mother's face. In Boston, speakeasies were popular sites that hosted these safe gathering spaces in the 20s and 30s. The Crawford House on 83rd Court Street, Playland Cafe at 21 Essex Street are examples of these. Boston Latin School's own Zoe, I really hope I'm not pronouncing this name wrong, Zoe Coleman, please, published an article last year titled Pride in Progress, a journey through Boston's LGBTQ plus safe spaces, highlighting the LGBTQ safe spaces from about 1920 to now. She highlights the 50s as a transformative decade because of the Lavender Scare. And no, it's not the perfume section at Macy's, it's the byproduct of the Red Scare, a preconceived notion that communists were infiltrating the American society and federal government. Funny enough, now our generation is full of them. LMAO America. Historian David K. Johnson describes the Lavender Scare as, quote, put into effect under the notion that the queer community posed a threat to national security because they were vulnerable to blackmail and were considered to have weak moral characters. Basically, America was afraid of a bunch of gay dudes kissing each other, which is terrifying, I guess. Call the Navy, whatever. Leading into the 1950s, queer culture continued to thrive in Boston. Certain locations were a safe haven for the culture, one of them being Jacques, which went on to serve as a hotspot for lesbians of the 70s. The Napoleon was also a common spot circled by the queer community for similar purposes as well. So Boston historically does love bars. But aside from the bars, the LGBTQ community also found solace in local Boston communities, finding safe havens in, surprisingly enough, church. The Old West Church, located at 133 Cambridge Street, was one of the first churches to welcome the LGBTQ plus community into its doors. The Old Cambridge Baptist Church, located at 400 Harvard Street, hosted the first headquarters of the National Lesbian/Gay Task Force, and many, many more. Today, we find the LGBTQ community still under fire as the younger queer community struggles to find consistent solace in our community. And I mean, gay people found housing in the South End, right? Oh, okay. I oh oh no. Oh my. As with any minority community, the problems they face are not only external, but within as well. Our Boston queer community is just as important, if not as important, as any other community in Boston. We love them as much as we love ourselves. And if everything else fails, know you are loved here at Project Hills as well. I am Marcus here at Project Hills. Thank you for watching our video. Episode 3 is over. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. My socials are about to be right here. And I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you.